Okay, guys, welcome back. Here's another part of the story. So I am the president of the local cemetery. There are 7 generations of my family buried in this cemetery. I serve as the president of the cemetery board. 2 of those generations of my family I have, buried on this ground. But there is something going on with the trees. So, several years ago, as a part of a improvement project, the cemetery board planted these trees on the boundary of the cemetery. And there are troubling things going on with the trees. So I am serving as the president and also as a volunteer, as someone who wanted, trees in the cemetery. Some of my money went into this tree project. My farm, where I had the drift from the soybeans, drift on the soybeans is a 1/4 mile south of here. And Dad's land is directly adjacent to the cemetery. But anyway, there is something very troubling going on with the trees. And we did have an arborist come out and look at the trees, and right now we're adopting a wait and see approach. But there's something troubling going on with the trees, and it's not just these trees that are, I think these are 4 years old. It's not just these trees. I'll show you, we'll attach another clip here. So this spring, the cemetery board, we undertook another tree planting project, this line of trees. And they're similar to the trees that I just showed you. They're the same type. They come from a local garden center, an arborist. He's the guy that cultivated this line of trees. They're a maple, and I think, to use his description, they were an intermediate maple. They're not soft and they're not hard. They're kind of a hybrid, if you will, of the two. I think that's the terminology he used there, an intermediate maple. And there is the name of the tree. See if that'll focus in there. But they have been, improved by a local arborist, and we like the trees. They've survived here in our environment. They survived the ice storm several years ago. We had a real bad ice storm. Pretty catastrophic to the softwood trees around here, like the elms and the soft maples. During the ice storm, whole trees were just about defoliated, or debranched, if you will. But this particular tree survived that very well. And that is one of the reasons that we have undertaken the planting of them. But it appears to me, in my moderately uninformed opinion, that something is attacking the growing points. So I've got one more clip I'm going to show you. So, being part of the president of the Cemetery Association, one of the hats I have to wear is that when our sextant is gone, I have to act as sextant for the cemetery. And I am standing down here next to a tree that is right adjacent to the very first grave that I ever sighted here on the cemetery. The sextant was gone on a trip, and so me and my boys came down here and we got to sight a grave, which on an old cemetery like this can be a little bit tricky, making sure the grave's in the right place. As I was backing up there, I was trying to show you the tree, but it's a tree that's older than I am, so well over 40 years old. And this is what we have going on with this tree. And the symptomology here is expressed throughout the entire tree. And it's attacking the growing points of the tree. And I doubt if my iPhone will show it. It will not allow you. Try and zoom up here to the very tops of the tree. But the symptomology is throughout the entire tree. And you can tell by the color of the leaves. So it's an issue of concern for us, and you know, like the other things that I've done, I've attempted to foster discussion, and I have brought it to the attention of the entire cemetery board, and you know, trying to keep everybody in the loop about what's going on, be as professional and as respectful as possible. But this is what we have going on in our community. Thanks, guys.